Good morning. Here we are. It's Monday morning. Hooray! Welcome to it. This is your MOMO. We're going to talk with you today about that wonderful art of work-life balance. And if you've got it figured out, we sure hope you'll let us know what you think about it, because it's a topic that seems to come up everywhere, and we have lots to say about it. So let's just get right down to it. I'm going to dive in and attack James first, and I'm going to say, hey, James, do you think it's even possible to have work-life balance?
Oh, I think anything is possible. It's a matter of finding balance so that you can establish balance. But absolutely, I think it's possible. But I think it's an ongoing, day-to-day process that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of forethought. So, but yes, I believe it's possible.
Great. Okay. I'm not sure I do or not, and so I wanted to have you guys weigh in first on just that. Is it even possible? So, Linda, now it's your turn. Do you think it's possible? And maybe, do you even have it? You're muted on it. There we go.
And I wish I had it.
Mm-hmm.
I say to myself every morning, I enjoy balancing work and enjoying life pleasures. And I try and remember every single day that there's something that I should do, want to do, could do to bring more joy and to bring more balance. Because, as an entrepreneur, we all work, 8, 10, 12 more hours a day, and it's absolutely crazy sometimes. And if you don't bring in that balance, you don't enjoy life pleasures, you're going to burn out.
Yeah, I think burnout is a big issue for a lot of entrepreneurs that have been working at something for a while, especially if we are working on our own and not always feeling supported, which is what Monday Momentum is all about. We're here to support you and support each other in our journey. So, being alone can certainly feel out of balance, as well as other things in your lives. So if someone were to ask you, what's your routine, or do you have one to keep you in balance, or how do you know when you're out of balance? Is there anything that you would volunteer, or would you like to hear this little piece that I have first?
Go for it, Sarah.
Go ahead.
So I'm going to share something with you, and I was working frantically before we started our broadcast today because I wanted to verify this online before I gave you a guy's name and gave you something that he has done around work-life balance. And my source for this was I had a wonderful meeting with a coach at CEO Space in October, and when someone else is talking, I'll take the moment to go and look up her name so I can share it, because it was a really great meeting, and she's a new member, and I'm looking forward to sitting and chatting with her again. But we were talking about entrepreneurial issues, the journey, and how to sort of identify what's the next step sometimes, and how we can make sure we're working in exactly the right area for ourselves. And she suggested a book to me that's called Walking Through Fire, and it's written by a man named Eric Wagner. And as far as I know, because I'm looking at my notes here, where I wrote this guy's name, Eric Wagner, Walking Through Fire, and then I think that this information I'm going to share in a minute is his. But it could be that I'm mistaken. I looked him up, couldn't find it, couldn't verify it. So, Eric, you're getting glory that may not be yours. If it is, yippee for you. So what my friend shared with me is something that she got from reading this book, and it was an acronym, SAVERS. And so it was the word SAVERS, and SAVERS. And for each letter, there was sort of, do 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, a small amount of these things every day, and it will help you keep your balance. So the S was have some time of silence. The A was do some affirmations. The V was have some visualization time. E, exercise. R, reading. And S, scribing or writing, journaling. So it was something that she had found really useful, and I like it a lot too. I mean, I do a lot of those things already. Sometimes, some things get left out. Sometimes I'm doing 2 hours of something and I'm not just 5 minutes. But it was a nice little way to sort of have a method, have some kind of way to help us keep our balance, help us keep all of those balls that we care about in the air enough so that we maintain our health, maintain our sanity, keep our relationships with the other human beings that we want to be involved with, and grow our business. So that's just something I want to throw at you. And again, Eric Wagner, if it's yours, yippee for you. If it's not, hopefully whoever it is will figure it out. And I'll be getting that book, and then I'll be able to verify it later. But this is something, these are kinds of things that I do daily, or try to do. Spend some time reading, spend some time getting healthy, and taking care of the different areas of my life. And that's one way that I strive for balance. But to be honest, I don't think permanent balance, anyway, is possible. I think it's something you have for a moment, once in a while. And, the picture that I choose to use for today's broadcast sort of demonstrates that. And let me see if I can share my screen. I'll show you what I mean.
Well, let's see what James has.
Oh, James put something up. Oh, so he's sharing his screen. Well, go for it, James. What do you got?
Eric T. Wagner, author of Walk Through Fire.
Yeah, I got that much, but I don't know if this Savers thing came from that book. I couldn't verify that. So it may be that she's talked about this book, Eric Wagner's book, and then a minute later she said, oh, and there's this other thing. Because I was writing notes down as I had this conversation with her. But at any rate, I also believe that I want to read this book based on my conversation with her. So forgive me, audience, for being scattered a little bit, but I'm a big reader, and I'll be reading that, and we'll tell you more later. And I hope it's his system or his idea, this Savers thing. And I know there's other good wisdom in that book. So any input on what you kinds of rituals or daily routines, or do you have any at all? Do you wish you did? I'm going to go with Linda because she doesn't have her mute on.
So as you were saying these, I did jot them down, and I say, oh, I do that, oh, I don't do that quite enough. So although I do almost all of these things, I don't do them in proportion. Mm-hmm. So I guess that is out of balance. And it probably would be beneficial to spread those things out a little bit more. I do think it's important. It's something that I recognize. If I don't get in balance and I don't start enjoying life, I start getting the stress in my neck and my shoulders. And then it kind of forces me to have some me time. It's really rough when you have to have a massage.
So are you saying that sometimes you wait too long?
Yeah.
And do you feel like you are learning what the signals are so you won't wait too long next time, maybe? When you start getting that twitch in your neck, maybe it's time to slow down?
Absolutely.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share this now if I can. Are you seeing that little wonderful kid on the beach hang on his one hand?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So this is why, obviously this is a moment of beautiful balance. However, the balance is probably being provided by the person taking the picture, and I imagine that this kid is in the middle of a cartwheel and isn't actually staying there very long. He's only on that one hand for a moment in time, and there are gymnasts and other people that can really balance like crazy on one hand, but at any rate, he's moving, and the cool thing is he's probably having fun, and the fun thing, one of the things that's giving him fun is that he's out of balance. He's moving through his life. He's not just stuck in one spot with everything perfect. And that's the thing I want to sort of challenge us with is we hear a lot about work-life balance, and we seem to think that it might be possible and that we're somehow failing if we get out of balance. But I would say, hey, you know what? We're not meant to be in balance for more than a moment. And then something else will come along to take us a little bit off, and the challenge and joy is, okay, how do I get this thing into my life, adjust for this, and find my balance again? And that it's always motion and movement, and it's never really static. And when it is static, that's because we're dead. So those are my words of wisdom for you right now. And I want to make sure that you guys actually saw that because I might have been frozen on Linda for a minute. But you can see he's moving. He's not, I don't think. I mean, do you think this kid is balanced and actually going to hold himself there for very long? I don't.
You know what I love, Sarah, is that you looked at that picture and that's how you interpret it. And, you know, I looked at that picture a little more simplistically. He's just out there having fun doing cartwheels. So I love the insight that you have that, you know, it's all about the balance and a moment in time. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. I just like trying to find pictures that have something to do with our topic. And, you know, I think he's probably doing a cartwheel, don't you? Anyways.
Yeah, but I'm with Linda on that. That you know, you really kind of put a completely different perspective on that, because up until that time, I was thinking, you know, I kind of still believe there are areas of our life that we can have more balance or better balance. For instance, I slept for 2 days this weekend, and I mean almost completely literally. Simply because that is probably the area in my life that is the most out of balance as far as taking care of myself with regards to getting enough sleep every day. And so I think there's some areas where we can benefit from balancing things out. You know, a healthy diet, good sleeping, good routines, but at the same time, I absolutely agree that sometimes the greatest moments of balance in our lives is when we are moving at a rate or in a direction or in such a way as to almost be embracing a little bit of chaos, and that's where the joy comes. That's where the fun comes. That's really what keeps me motivated. It's what keeps me engaged in so many different things, because to a degree, that's where I find balance. You know, with all the other things that I find myself compelled to do or pursue.
Well, thank you for that, and I'm glad that you guys can sort of visualize what I was trying to get at, and I don't know that I'm an authority on balance. I don't always feel balanced myself, that's for sure, but I also feel as though that's part of life and growth and movement, and that if we want those things, we have to enjoy that. Oh, I feel a little off balance right now. I wonder if I can get myself back, you know, versus falling over versus being a statue and never moving at all. And so that's the fun of it for me. And I think the danger that we get into when we get out of balance is getting too far out and collapsing, like I just said. And the way, in my opinion, to prevent that is to really know what your values are, what really matters to you, and then be making sure that you are trying in your daily life to make sure that there isn't some area that's being completely neglected, some value that's important to you that you're not taking care of, and conversely, that you're not spending tons of energy and time doing things that aren't in alignment with your values for whatever reason. You know, you're doing things that aren't moving you towards where you want to go. Because I think when we know what we value, what's important to us, and work in those areas, we're less likely to feel that icky backache because we spent too much time, or you know, wow, I haven't slept for 2 days. I mean, those are sort of more extreme, in my opinion. And okay once in a while, but not an okay to live that way all the time. I mean, it's not fun to be in pain, and it's not good for our bodies where we live. So, in my experience, spending time thinking and working on, okay, well, what's really important to me? Not what do I think should be important to me because of what other people say or is important to them, but what really matters most to me, and what am I doing today or this week, maybe not always every day, to make sure that I'm paying attention to that area. And I don't know if that's ever been something that's useful to you, either of you, but do you feel like you have good sense of what you value, what's most important to you, and that it's okay with you that it might not be the same as other people's in your life. How about chiming in?
Sarah, one of the things about being an entrepreneur is that you get to pick what you do.
Yes.
And if you enjoy doing what you're doing and you are responsible for bringing in your own business, one of the things that you can get out there and do is networking. And you know what? Some networking events are just a lot of fun. And it's a great way to balance the work and the focus that you need to do to bring in new clients, yet to enjoy yourself, to relax, to build those relationships, because the relationships are what's going to bring you more business. So when I look at, working 8, 10, 12 hours a day, sometimes it is working at networking, and it is also enjoying what I'm doing and de-stressing while I'm working, because it is fun.
Fabulous. And this is a wonderful point. I mean, you said in the beginning, or something like, entrepreneurs get to choose what they do, and that's one of the reasons that we are entrepreneurs, is we want to be in charge of our own lives in a strong way. And when your work is something you enjoy and love, and it's your passion, that is way more balanced than when I have my life here, and my work is over here, and my work is what I do to get money so that maybe I can enjoy my life. But when you can bring the two together, this is my life, and part of my life is my work, and I enjoy my work. I love it. Sometimes I stay up all night doing it. That is more balance. You don't have this separate tug and pull, and that's one of the huge joys about being an entrepreneur, and it's a major key, in my opinion, to work-life balance, is make sure that you like your work. Find work you enjoy. So, how about it, James? Do you have work you enjoy?
Absolutely. If you don't truly enjoy and love what you are doing, then you need to take a step back and really evaluate what it is that you're doing and why. For me, I think, I definitely love and enjoy what I'm doing, but more than that, as you know, I'm involved in a lot of different service type projects and organizations, and for me, where I get my balance is in service, in those projects that I'm able to engage in, and I don't have to. All it takes for me to be involved in those projects is to look at my calendar and make sure that I'm available and clear the time, and then get back to work, and that's it. And I know I'm going to be able to participate in those programs. Here in Southern Utah, we with the Exchange Club, we have literally major projects going on every other month, which require planning, and we have weekly meetings, and I work with the Utah Developmentally Disabled Council. So these things, that's where I find my balance, is in that freedom to be engaged in those things without having to answer to too many people. So I think that's it's completely on point as far as being able to do something that you truly enjoy doing and love doing. And again, there are definitely some areas where I could work on more balance as far as my health and my sleep and everything else. But for the most part, that is absolutely why I pursue and do the things that I do.
Well, it's a work in progress, isn't it? I mean, you learn your lesson, and then you decide, okay, maybe I'll do things a little bit differently next time. And of course, as we grow and change, you may find that you need sleep more than you did when you were 20, and other things like that, and you've identified values that are either shifting or are becoming more clear. I mean, both of you talked about. Linda was talking about how, you know, you're growing your business, you can go networking. Networking fills at least two needs. One, finding people that you might be able to do business with, and two, having some fun. And so it sounds to me like Linda values fun, having fun. And probably it fills the need for some social interaction, because otherwise we can be really isolated. And you know, it doesn't have to be like this is the only reason I'm going is to grow my business. It also does these other things for me. Like for me, you know, I want to have good time with my kid. Both of them I want to have quality time with, but one of them we used to do karate together, and I really liked it, and that filled at least two needs: one, exercise; two, quality time together. And when we decided together that we're going to do something else, we're not going to do karate anymore, I said, well, whatever it is, we have to find something to do together, and it doesn't even have to be exercise, but we're going to do something together, because we spent 9 years doing that together twice a week, and it was really nice to have that quality time. And it feels, you know, for me, time with my children, but also, woo, I get some exercise out of it too, so, you know, kill two birds with one stone. What's wrong with that? And it comes from identifying those kinds of, you know, this is important to me. And for James, you know, you found that service gives you a good sense of balance, and you enjoy it, and when you have it in your life, you feel better, you're a happier person. And I bet it's in part because it's easy to provide value just by kind of showing up. You know you have enough skill and enough wisdom that you can volunteer at an event and help people out, be helpful, be useful no matter what. You don't have to spend hours and hours and hours preparing for it. You don't have to be an expert. You can just give love and service and, you know, value to the world, and that helps recharge you. So this is a value that you've identified that you might not have known when you were 20. And I don't know, I mean, sorry if there's someone out there that's 20 and is taking offense. There's a lot of stuff I didn't know when I was 20, and come back in 10 years and I'll be telling you there's even more I've learned. But identifying what matters to you and what, you know, you really truly say, I'm here because I want to do this, and my family, my health, whatever it is, then finding ways to meet those needs, and expecting that it's going to always be shifting, like this whole karate shift that we're going through. So have you ever, I'm going Linda because I think I already know James's answer. Linda, have you ever had a time where you just got completely out of balance, and you really, you know, had to work to get back into it, or feeling more like you were balanced?
That has happened very frequently for me, but one of the things that I'm focusing more on now is I'm a collaborator. So if I'm working a project, I want to collaborate with people that I enjoy to collaborate with. You know the old saying, you know, fire a client if they aren't, you know, working for your benefit also. So getting rid of, you know, negative people in your life, enjoying working with your clients, enjoying working with, you know, coworkers. I collaborate on projects. So that's kind of how I reel myself into balance, is just enjoying the people that I work with. And as entrepreneurs, I think it's important, just fire the ones that aren't working for you.
Mm. Does that mean that there was a time where you were working hard, trying to make work with people that were not the right fit for you, and that's how you learned that?
And sometimes when you're first starting off in business, you have to take any project that comes your way. And sometimes it's just extremely frustrating working with very difficult people. And you might say to yourself, why am I even doing this? So balance to me is just enjoying my work and everything that I do and the people that I work with. And I just don't want those people in my life that are toxic, that aren't any fun, because it's not balance, that's just work.
Mm. So it sounds to me like I'm hearing that value again of fun and of connecting to other people, and doing it in a way that's more important maybe even than how much money I'm going to make from this particular project, because the money comes and goes, but going crazy, getting out of balance can be pretty detrimental. Does that sum it up at all?
And it can get very expensive for you, because if all you have is that frustration, like I mentioned, the tightness in the neck and the shoulders, and really having to stop, time out, take care of yourself, spend 3 days in bed, whatever it happens to be, to bring yourself back to nurturing yourself. I do think it's really important.
Yeah. Thank you. James, is there a lesson about balance that you would like to share that you've learned recently or ever?
Well, I really appreciate Linda's comments on toxic people. Yeah, I mean, I think as an entrepreneur, as a business person, as just an individual, there was a time when I knew that that was my lot, as far as I didn't have the luxury of picking and choosing, and there were certain things that were happening in my life that I had to accept and I had to embrace and I had to get through, if that is an appropriate way of kind of looking at it, so I could reach that point that I feel I have now, actually, where I can, if someone is toxic, if a relationship or a project or an opportunity starts to become counterproductive for me emotionally, financially, physically, whatever that might be, I do now have the luxury, the power, the capacity, the permission to make the change, to pursue something different, but it's also helped me pursue things differently, in that I want to make sure in any relationship or in any opportunity that I'm not that toxic person. I think that in and of itself has probably brought more balance for me than any other in particular aspect, because I mean, even as of recently, as the last few weeks, I've had someone who has been quite toxic, and I haven't even pursued this relationship. They've, in a sense, pursued me, and in my gut reaction to not engage in this relationship, it's upset this person quite a bit, which is really kind of just a validation of my gut feeling. But so I could really appreciate that, because that is something I think we need to achieve. We need to pursue that capacity to give ourselves that permission, so that we're not inviting that toxicity into our day. Because ultimately, if we were to really put our thumbs on why we are entrepreneurs, why we want to pursue this way of business, is because we've had way too many toxic people in our lives, and we're not just built that way. So.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that you've touched upon a whole nother subject for us. Similar to identifying your values, is taking the time to identify who's your perfect client, who's your perfect customer, what kind of person are they, so that, because I would challenge you that I think sometimes we believe that we have to take any piece of work we can get in the beginning, because we want to make sure that we can feed our families, but that desperation attracts desperation, and once we realize how negative it can be, how much it can cost us in terms of our passion and our energy plus money, when they turn out to be somebody that wants lots of work but they don't really feel like paying, things like that, we don't want them anymore. And if we identify that ahead of time, we're much more likely to be able to spot it. This is the kind of person I want to work with, and not have to go through quite so much of that. And they may want to work with us, they may pursue us, but we have to have mechanisms and the ability to recognize that, no, this is probably not so good for me right now, and here's something you could do instead, bye, and send them off on their merry way so that they can get the help they need, but they aren't trying to get it from us anymore. So guess what? It's already 8:30. Woohoo! This is so fast sometimes, and that's what we want it to be, because we know you're busy, and we're busy too. The whole idea is to shot in the arm real quick and then get to work. So, Linda, would you like to sign out and then pass it off to James, and then I'll close her up?
All right. Well, my name is Linda Kay, and I am a website designer, developer, and promoter. And you know what? If you need a website and you're fun, I want to work with you.
Woohoo!
That's got to be a tagline,
Yeah.
It's been wonderful to be here this morning with you guys. My name is James McFadden. I'm here in not so sunny southern Utah today. It is quite chilly and cold and rainy, and even snow in the mountains here as well. So I'm marketing systems, relationship development in marketing, and so it's been wonderful to be here. And just remember, if you can't track it, don't do it.
There you go. Thank you. So, thanks, you guys. Sarah Coolidge, right down there is my name and our website. You can find our other videos there. You can connect with us there, and we'd love to hear from you. We want to know what you're doing with this information. If you get some great idea from us and it's helped you, we really want to know. We want to know what you want to hear about. So if you've got a topic that you really would like some more information or support with, please let us know, and we'll try to work it into our schedule. We know tons of people from CEO Space. They're experts in all sorts of areas of business. So we can bring them on and get them here and talk with them for you. So thanks again for coming. We're here every Monday morning just to give ourselves and you a shot in the arm. Like I said, we are entrepreneurs working from home. We know what it's like. You can get lonely. You can get frustrated. People don't understand you. The laundry is always calling. There's so many ways to get distracted. But right now, you're on track. So get up and get going. Have a fabulous week, work hard, make something happen, and then you can slide into home base on Friday feeling really good about what you've done. We'll see you next Monday. Thanks for joining us. Bye.
Hey, everybody.
Happy Monday.